Hey, what's happening in San Diego? Awesome to be with you on a Monday. Kicking off another week. Don't forget, don't hate Mondays. Don't hate on Mondays. That's silly, man. You're wiping out 14% of your life. Learn to love Mondays. Well, you don't have to love them, but they're not so bad. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios today. Tony Gwynn Jr. is loving Monday because he's idle. What do you want me to do?
Unplug that, please.
This?
Yes.
Okay, done. Skraby and I are not going to be getting along at the beginning of the show, and here's why. I had to change my password on the computer here, and I did it during the show, I think last Monday, and then I forgot what my password was, and I was gone all week, and now I'm back, and I can't sign on to the computer. So Skraby's livid with me, and he actually no, but you have a right to be livid. I mean, I need the computer on so that I can get my YouTube video going, and here I am.
I'm taking care of you on that. You're up.
Oh, you got me?
Yes, because
How'd you do that?
well, because I can plug it into this computer.
Oh,
over
thank
here.
you.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, I have no computer though for the show, and that's not going to help me. But we'll make it work somehow. Either that, or somebody's got to call in and not you, the listeners, but. We're going to have to call some of our engineers or something to tell me how I can get my password or get on the computer.
I mean,
how do I do stuff like this? I'm so stupid.
I don't know.
No, I mean, it's the dumbest thing ever, but this was the perfect storm, Scrape. It was last Monday, and I hadn't been in for 2 weeks, right? Because we were on vacation. And my password had expired, and so the show was underway. And remember, I was trying to type in a new password during the show, and you were kind of like pressing me on it, which was what you should do because I needed to be on the YouTube video. And so I finally got signed on with a new password. And then at the end of the day, I just went home, and then I was traveling last week. And when I came into work today, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get on the computer because I have no idea what my password was.
I
can't. It's look, I'm the idiot. I'm taking full blame for this. But the bottom line is, man, to have to change your password every 20 minutes drives you a little crazy around here.
It's every 90 days.
Yeah. But then you
I just change it one character.
No, but every time I do that, it says that's not enough of a change.
Have you used it before, maybe?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to get on the computer today.
No.
So that's a bad thing.
Adam texted me. He said, does Chris need the engineers? And I said,
yes,
okay,
I do.
Okay, yes, Adam. The answer is
yes. I need the engineers, Adam. Get me the engineers.
I'm actually not even that mad, to be honest.
No, you're not mad because, you know why you're not mad? Because you've just resigned yourself to the fact that I'm old and I'm going to have some issues from time to time with the computers.
It's not even that.
I'm going to have issues.
I woke up in a fantastic mood.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that.
I actually got 8 hours of sleep according to my new watch.
Oh, you have one of those sleep tracking watches?
Yes, because I sleepwalk so much.
Really? You can now track that?
Well, it tells me when I'm awake, and so if I feel like I've sleptwalk, I can look, and then there it is. You're awake.
You know what I'd like to... Okay, all right. Now that you've got a watch that tracks you sleepwalking... Is there any way to add video to it so you can see where you're going? See where you've gone.
Set that up, but
that would be awesome. You'd wake up in the morning and go, "Oh no, I was sleepwalking." Wait, rewind it.
Yeah. And then,
oh my God, I was walking in the middle of Friars Road.
And you could just see me. Actually, it would be at home in the fridge.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Friars Road.
I sleep eat all the time.
That's
crazy. I wake up with like loaves of bread in my bed because
loaves of bread in your
I'll sleepwalk down to the bread and get the bread and come back upstairs and I'll wake up with bread.
Can't the sleepwalking part of you put a little peanut butter and jelly on the bread?
No, I put soap, remember? I've eaten a soap sandwich sleeping.
You did do that one time.
Yes.
All right, well, you did get good 8 hours last night, so you're in a good mood. We had, obviously, the NFL playoffs kicked off, and the Chargers did their thing, and we'll get into that here shortly. We've got the good and the bad and the ugly from each of the 5 playoff games that were played this weekend. We'll do that later in the show, but we will definitely get the Charger thing and what happened. And I will say this before we get too deep into it. everyone's saying it was chargering. I don't think it was chargering only for this reason. They had no chance to win the game. I mean, at least chargering to me is blowing the game. This was not a typical chargering performance in the fact that they could have won the game. They couldn't have won the game. They were completely outplayed for the final, I would say, 40 minutes of that game. Well, it wasn't even a contest.
When your quarterback throws 4 interceptions, it's not giving you much of a chance.
Don't get me started on Justin Herbert. I've said it many times before. We have crowned Justin Herbert as one of the great quarterbacks in NFL history before he deserves it. And, it's not to say he won't ever get there, but he's not there yet.
I would like to address the elephant in my room, at least, which was my the Texans had no chance. The Texans are a terrible team.
Crazy. Yeah, you did.
I even think I said they were embarrassing.
Yeah.
I said the Texans are not even a playoff team. They shouldn't even have a playoff home game, and they shut me up.
Yeah, they did. There's no argument. I mean, they wiped out the Chargers. They controlled both lines of scrimmage, which wasn't supposed to happen. They had the best running back on the field. They easily had the best wide receiver on the field. And they had the better quarterback. And as it turned out, they had the better coach. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, just did not bring it for the Chargers. His game plan was absolutely awful. I mean, how many times did the Chargers run the ball? I mean, that's Jim Harbaugh's bread and butter, is to run and establish the run.
But you can't when you're behind.
They were ahead the entire first half.
Okay.
But they couldn't get it done. They had 6 possessions after the first possession they went down, kicked the field goal. And then they got a turnover and kicked another field goal. And then after that, they had 6 possessions and gained 30 yards. So they didn't do anything. With all of their opportunities, their defense played well for the first 20 minutes, but Harbaugh did not stick with the run. He put the game in the hands of his quarterback, and his quarterback was awful. I'm surprised that Harbaugh had such a bad game plan. Anyway, that was that game. We'll get into more details.
Yes, we got more on that.
We got a lot more.
Breaking news.
We got Mike. But before you get to that, Mike Tomlin is he out yet in Pittsburgh? Is that the breaking news?
He should be.
All right. Well, I know you think so, and I know that Michael Valenzuela, our
that
our
was
market
a lifeless
chair,
team.
who was
a lifeless team in the playoffs.
Who is a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, but not a Mike Tomlin fan. Probably sat there in agony on Saturday night and watched Tomlin lose. I'll just say this. If the Steelers want to fire Mike Tomlin, I'm pretty sure that a bunch of teams will line up to hire him.
I agree.
I think he's a really good coach. I don't think he has a really good team. And that's the problem.
For the last 15 years, though?
10 years that they haven't won a playoff game. And I don't think they've had the best team in any of those 10 years. So, and if you look at the fact that they lost the last 5 games of the regular season, they lost the 4 and then the playoffs, so they lost their last 5. They did not have the better team in any of those 5 games. So that to me is Mike Tomlin's deal, but that's for Pittsburgh to worry about. All right, give me. Is it breaking? Like I don't even know about it at all.
Yeah, you don't, but it's semi-breaking.
Go for it.
Because a former Padre that we were thinking could come back to the team is no longer coming back to the team because the substitute teacher, Donovan Solano, has signed with the Mariners. And now this is what gets my mind going crazy. It's making $3.5 million, Chris. That's it. $3.5 million.
Donovan Solano was
he was key last year.
He was a key guy last year, especially with some of the injuries.
$3.5 million, Chris.
Think the Padres should have stepped up? I'm telling you what, the Padres are waiting for one thing and one thing only, and that is Roki Sasaki to make up his mind.
It's true.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, Chris, because there is some news on that front today.
Yes, there is.
And it's actually good news.
Yes, there is.
All right, for the Padres. So let's, get this in there while we're bumming out about the lousy and do-nothing off-season, which is complicated by the lawsuit and everything else that's going on. The good news is that Roki Sasaki was in San Diego this weekend, and this is only a few days before it's time for him to really make his final decision. Could this be a good thing? I think it's a good thing if he came to San Diego and visited just 3 days or 4 days before the deadline time frame lifts, and it's time for him to make his decision. What is it, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Through the following Wednesday, basically. Has a week to actually announce it. Something like that.
I hope he just gets it out of the way.
Please get it out of the way, because we're tired of waiting around. No
Roki,
kidding.
Please do it Wednesday at 2 p.m.
But also, if you're going to do it Wednesday at 2 p.m., 2:03 would be better, because we're not quite on the air yet.
Or like 2:10.
2:10 would be good for you?
Yeah, let's get some breaking news.
All right, do it Wednesday at 2:10, but only make your decision Wednesday at 2:10 if that decision is that you're joining the Padres.
True.
If you're joining somebody else, we don't want to hear about it.
Do it after our show ends.
That's right.
Do it after the Skraby show ends. But here's why I think the Padres are feeling like they have a really, really good shot for Roki Sasaki.
Okay.
And it was in an Athletic article from this morning talking about Roki Sasaki's market. And this is from the article. Quote, the Padres informed some players who were expected to be a part of their upcoming signing class, international signing class, that they were free to seek other deals, league sources said.
Interesting.
Which
so
means,
they're letting
why
everybody
would they
else
do that?
They're letting everybody else walking away because they're putting all their eggs in one basket. I mean, they really are. I mean,
They must know something, or they're just gambling.
They're either, you're right. They're either gambling like everything. They put it all on the number 26 and they spun the roulette wheel, because that would be the gamble they're taking. Or they actually do. You're right. They know something and they feel like they're in pretty good shape.
And we have 3 teams that are off the board, according to beat reporters. We have Will Salmon saying the Mets are out, Jack Curry saying the Yankees are out, and Susan Slusser saying the Giants are out.
All right, so there's only like 4 teams left that we have to worry about.
Yeah, but he was here over the weekend, apparently, and
that's the great news.
That's the great news.
The mediocre news is that he was in Toronto last weekend, so maybe he's just still visiting everything. I mean, we're on pins and needles. We are absolutely on pins and needles, and the very life of our franchise seems like it's at stake.
Ooh, Adam Klug, I didn't see this one. Cubs are out of it, too.
Cubs have dropped out.
So
there's So what do we got left? Dodgers,
went to Toronto.
I think it's Dodgers, Mariners, Blue Jays, Padres. Yeah, I saw Mariners.
I've seen Rangers as well.
Okay, Rangers.
So there's only Dodgers,
Padres, maybe
Mariners
is wrong.
What's the other one? What did you just say?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like 5 teams are left.
I think there's 5 teams left. Yeah, I think the Mariners are one of the 5. But we gotta cross every finger we have. I mean, because I love doing this show, but when we open up the phone lines on a day that Roki Sasaki has signed elsewhere, it's gonna be a nightmare. The fans are going to revolt.
I don't even want to put
You don't want me to put it out there?
Because I honestly think this is it's going to be a huge letdown, so I'm not even going to think about it until it happens, because that's what I do in my new sober way of life, Chris. I don't let things bother me that haven't happened yet.
That's a good goal to have, but I don't really believe that you're actually accomplishing it. So
yeah, Roki Sasaki from Mike Rodriguez out of the Cubs about 45 minutes ago.
All right, good. Well, look, we still have a shot. He was in San Diego this weekend. Fingers are crossed. We got a couple of days until we can start. The window opens to where we can actually find out. All right, NFL playoffs continue tonight. Vikings, Rams. Game is obviously, as you know, in Phoenix, Arizona. That is because of the wildfires, which continue to really rage up in Los Angeles. I know they've got something contained, but if there's anything you can do to help, please, find out how you can help. I mean, the Los Angeles wildfires are just awful, and it's been awful for the last 5-6 days now. So our thoughts continue to go out to all those displaced people there.
Yeah, did you see the people? Well, I was telling you about it, so you didn't see it, but on social media, the Rams put up a bunch of different videos of all of the Rams fans that were lining up at SoFi Stadium at 5:30 a.m. to take a bus to Phoenix so that they can watch the team. And those are some hardcore fans. Those are hardcore fans. They're
Jumping
getting on a bus
to Phoenix
and then coming home right after the game. That is a long day, so I give those fans credit.
It's going to be a longer night if the Vikings win the game.
That is true, too.
We'll have the game for you right here on 97.3 The Fan. Coming up following our program, coverage begins at 4:30. Until then, it's Gwynn and Chris featuring Ello and Skraby. And we'll get underway for good here.
Do you have your password yet?
No, not even close. I have no chance. I have absolutely
the
no
answer to
chance of
that.
getting the password. So somebody help me. What can I tell you? We're underway on 97.3 The Fan. It's a glorious day. I came up with my password during the break. I don't know how I did it. Maybe I should write it down, Skraby. You think that's a good idea in case I forget it by tomorrow?
Actually, someone had a really great idea. Text either your wife with your password or text yourself or email yourself.
Right, it's there if you text it to somebody.
Yes.
Maybe I should text it to you.
Oh, that might be nice too. But
Would you like to know my password so you could get in and find out all my secret stuff?
You know, I've never been that guy.
You've never been that guy?
No, but I know people that like to go through people's emails and stuff
Yeah,
when
I
they
don't
leave
get
them
it.
on there.
Honestly, I've never once, and it's been 30-something years now we've been married, I've never once opened up my wife's purse and kind of rifled through there.
That's good.
Like, I have no
Means you
idea what's
trust
in there, and it's her space, right? I don't, it doesn't matter to me what's in there. So I think we should all live that way. 2:21 is the time. All right, more on the Chargers. The rest of the playoffs and the good, bad, and ugly. So if you're into the NFL playoffs, we did good, bad, and ugly for every game. And we'll do that at 3:30 today. Also, Daily Gambit, Chris versus the fans. But Skraby's we updated you on the Roki Sasaki thing. He was in San Diego this weekend. And we're really hopeful, like we said, that he's going to, stay in San Diego. Right? I went to San Diego State. About a week after I arrived here, I remember saying to myself, that's it.
I'm
not
good.
going anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I haven't. For
Weather was
a long,
fantastic
long time.
over the weekend, too.
Yeah, it was great. And it was great the day I made my decision many, many years ago. So hopefully Roki Sasaki does the same thing, right? He was in San Diego over the weekend. It was fantastic. Roki, it's January. Everywhere else in the country, it's miserable practically.
And don't even look, what's happening up the road.
I know, that's not fair, but it's true. So hopefully he'll stay. There was one other Padre note that you wanted to pass along.
Yes, because we've thrown this around a little bit, but there was a ton of Padres news over the weekend, and the Padres, I guess, have entertained trades for these players. I mean, we've already talked Dylan Cease, we've already talked Luis Ariz, although the $14 million that they signed him to with the settlement is going to make it hard for them to move him, according to the article. Also, officially, they have talked about Jake Cronenworth and Robert Suarez, the closer.
He's actually been mentioned in some trade talks now.
Just mentioned, nothing close,
now,
nothing big.
If you traded Robert Suarez, my first thought is, would that put you in for Tanner Scott? But I just don't think that's going to work. Tanner Scott going to cost too much money. But if you did trade Robert Suarez, I would be comfortable if Jason Adam were the closer.
I can see that too.
I said it last year. I said, I feel most comfortable in the 8th inning when Jason Adam is on the mound. And then he promptly went out and gave up like 4 runs after I said that. But I think Jason Adam is a closer. He could do the job. So maybe Robert Suarez isn't such a bad idea to shop.
Well, his contract is why they're looking at this. It's all about the contract. He signed an extension, 5-year, $46 million deal in 2023, but he has an opt-out after this season.
Okay.
So if he has a great season again, because he's not getting paid closer money. He's getting paid, he's getting paid like $8-9 million a year, which is not that much for a closer. So he could say, hey, I just had another 35 save season. I want to go out there and test free agency. I'm going to opt out. So why not, if that's the case, why not try to get some value? We're trying to find value anywhere right now, it seems like, Chris.
They're looking. They have to be creative.
If they can't sign Donovan Solano to $3.5 million, then we got to be really creative. Really, really, really creative.
We have to be creative, and we have to cross our fingers.
And
we gotta have Sasaki. It's a must.
Tyler says on the chat, we would be selling high on Suarez. I think this is a good time to trade him at a good value. I do too. I like Robert Suarez. He was good last year. He was great last year.
I love him.
But if he could provide some value that
if he could provide a left fielder and a catcher. Well, we don't need a catcher. Campusano is going to be on the All-Star team. I've said it way too many times.
We definitely need a catcher.
As a matter of fact, I've said it so many times now that I think I've probably ruined it.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you're the only one saying it, so you're going out.
I'm on a limb by myself. I'm out there on the edge. All right. Here's the one thing about the playoff, and I thought the playoffs in general, the NFL playoffs, were lousy. Right? Was there a really good game? Maybe last night, Washington and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It did go down to the last play. I didn't think it was like an all-timer, though. Like, it wasn't, and none of them were as good as the Notre Dame-Penn State game. And I'll say, I don't think any of them were as good as the Ohio State-Texas game.
That was a really good game.
Which, even though it finished 28-14, I mean, my goodness, Texas is on the 1-yard line with a chance to tie it up, and Sarkisian calls a pitch sweep to the left and loses 7 yards.
Yeah.
And then the next play, or the play after, the kid made a great play for Ohio State, comes off the edge, strips the ball, bounces into his arms, he runs 90 yards, game over.
I guess him and Quinn Ewers are friends.
They were former roommates.
Well, not anymore.
When Ewers played at Ohio State.
Yeah.
They were former roommates.
Not anymore, though.
Yeah. So that sets up Ohio State, Notre Dame. That game's not until next Monday. But the NFL playoffs were not nearly as exciting. And here's the Charger thing. I said that they didn't Chargering because I just think that this was not a game. I think they just got outplayed in every way. But there was one moment of Chargering for sure. And that was when they scored the touchdown. Didn't you feel like the touchdown that they got, Herbert just flung the ball and like 3 defenders ran into each other and McConkey ran down it seemed like it was kind of a lucky touchdown, to be honest with you. But it gave them a little life until the extra point debacle.
My goodness.
That was a debacle of Charger proportions for sure.
Dicker,
Cameron
kicker.
Dicker, the not knowing the rules kicker. You bring up a great point off the air, and I'm going to mention it. Jim Harbaugh and everybody, took a ton of credit because they knew the free kick rule.
Oh, yeah, I knew that, Chris.
Right? He knew it, and they put it into play against Denver, and Harbaugh was, a saint for doing that. And the special teams coach, brilliant.
Yes.
They outthought everybody. Well, if you did that, why didn't you tell your kicker that you can't bat a ball down onto the ground after it's blocked? Because the other guy can pick it up and run back.
Yes.
So if you knew the one rule, you proved that you didn't know the other rule.
Yeah.
Because Dicker could have grabbed that ball, and that would have been the end of the play.
One thing that I've learned by working with former NFL players is there are certain things that we just don't know. And one of those things is they go over these little tiny things every single week just to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Well, they didn't go over that one.
No, because Dicker, the kicker, goes and tries to spike it into the ground. That's bad. That is a
Dicker,
breakdown of communication in the finest way. Don't you think your special team coach tells you before you go out there, hey, if it gets blocked or if the snap is bad, just fall on the ball? Guess not. Because
I don't think it cost them the game necessarily, but it cost them whatever little, glimmer of hope they had. And then, what I really thought was embarrassing for the Chargers is after that, there was 9 minutes to go. They still needed 2 touchdowns, right? Or 10 points or something. And they just laid down. And Houston ran down the field 80 yards, ran out the rest of the clock. Mixon runs into the end zone. I mean, it was just like a debacle. Like, the Chargers are supposed to be tough. Where were they? Anyway.
Not there.
I also heard people say, and I wrote on Twitter, and I read it a lot, I'm so glad we don't have an NFL team so that I didn't have to deal, anguish over that. Are you kidding me? Give me an NFL team and let me anguish over that. Way better than not having a team, even if it would have had to be the Chargers. I'm sorry. The fact that we're without a team is far worse than losing a football game like that.
I think...
Is it not?
No, I think some people say that to cope with the fact that there is no team.
No, good point.
Which is fine. I understand. But please stop telling people to stop being a fan of the Chargers. Now I'm getting a little ticked off because people want to be excited about their team. Just let them be excited. Why do you have to tell them that they can't cheer for their team?
I think it's fair to let people do what they want to do. It's long enough now.
No one tells you to get over it.
How many years have they been gone? 8?
something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, the statute of limitations is run out on criticizing fans. If you want to hate Spanos for the rest of time,
go for it.
Guess what? There's no statute of limitations there.
No, and
you can hate forever, and boy, did he put up with a miserable afternoon. Sorry.
He looked miserable.
Well, that's a look that he's pretty good at. So
I agree. I agree.
More on the NFL playoffs an hour from now, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. But next, the Big Five. And one thing we haven't touched on yet, an NFL coach has been fired today. Who was it? We'll let you know when we come back on Gwynn and Chris. Back to Gwynn and Chris. We got a lot to get done. We've only got a couple of hours left ahead of Minnesota and the Rams tonight. Final playoff game of the weekend, and we're going to stick around. 3:30. We got a really good, bad, and ugly from each game. Each game will have a good. Each game over the weekend will have a bad, and of course, my favorite. Each game of the weekend will have an ugly, which will include the Denver Broncos pants. It's all coming up about an hour from right now. Those things stick in my mind, I'm telling you.
Well,
after
they
that
blinded
game.
me, so.
Yes, they did. They didn't blind Josh Allen, unfortunately. Before we get to the Big Five, real quick, just updating you on a couple of things with Roki Sasaki, because it's happening fast and furious. ESPN now saying that the Texas Rangers and the New York Mets have also been taken off Sasaki's list.
Okay, Rangers is new to me.
And according to multiple reports, the Giants have announced they're out of the negotiations altogether.
Yes, we did say
And
that.
okay, so according to this report just a little bit ago from ESPN, it's the Dodgers, it's the Padres, and then maybe the Blue Jays. That's kind of where they're at right now.
By the way, where did Toronto get all this money from? They
Well,
were in on Ohtani last year.
Yeah, they got a whole country
And
supporting
not that Roki
them.
Sasaki is going to make big money, but eventually he's going to make big
Now,
money.
you know, Toronto's trying to get in there, but he's not. Come on, Roki, please. Toronto, you're here this weekend. Stay.
Oh, let's look at and see what the Toronto weather was today over the weekend when they met. Oh, it's 27 degrees today, Chris.
And this, I'm not going to say what LA's temperature is. It's much hotter, though.
Okay.
All right, I didn't mean that.
All right.
I didn't mean
we
that.
can-
That's not nice. That's totally not nice.
But if you're selling something to someone,
Yeah.
the San Diego weather at this current moment is the best out of those three cities.
It's our best sales tool for sure. All right, let's. We told you an NFL coach was fired today. Was it Mike Tomlin? Let's find out in the Big Five.
Steelers fans wish.
Yeah.
Hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. First time we've had the Big Five at 2:40 in a while.
Yeah, I remember this.
In
yeah.
a while.
I know.
So
I'm
listening,
not quite prepared for it.
for the first time to this segment. We usually do this at like 4:35, 4:40 on weekdays, and we will continue to update you on what's going on with the Padres as we go along if we get more news.
Number 5.
But the news out of the NFL today, another coach bites the dust, and it's kind of weird. Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys are no longer a thing, Chris. The news broke this morning. Jerry Jones is going to go in a different direction, and many people are kind of pointing to the fact that Jerry blocked Mike McCarthy from interviewing with the Bears last week. Not many understand what's really happening in Dallas right now with the Cowboys. McCarthy is...
Wait, have we understood for the last 7 years? I mean, as Jerry's mental capacities apparently continue to kind of dwindle.
I don't know what's going on.
Right? I mean,
don't know.
the whole thing with the Cowboys gets stranger and stranger.
It does, and Mike McCarthy is expected to be interviewed for several of the open jobs. Chris, do you think that Mike McCarthy is a head coach next season?
I think NFL teams are stupid enough to make him one.
I don't know why people think he's a bad coach. He wins.
He does not.
Yes, he does.
He's got more money, more talent, more things behind him than anybody, and the Cowboys have done nothing under his leadership.
I'm going back to his record.
I mean, the 49ers whipped them, 2-3 years in a row. The Packers embarrassed them in the playoffs last year in a game that they didn't even look like they showed up for.
That is true.
On their home field. The Eagles and now even the Commanders have passed them as a much better team in that division.
The guy has a career
61%
winning percentage.
Yeah, well, he had, some good teams in Green Bay, but That was 2010. He won the Super Bowl 15 years ago. I'm going to go back to the statute of limitations. It runs out after a while. Just ask Steeler fans. Mike Tomlin's Super Bowl is not on their radar anymore.
No.
I don't think Mike McCarthy's Super Bowl should be on anybody's radar either.
Here it is.
I don't care for the guy.
In 2021, 12-5, won the NFC East.
And
2022,
how'd they do in the playoffs?
lost to the 49ers.
Right away.
2022, 12-5, second NFC East,
Lost to the 49ers.
after winning a game, by the way.
Oh, they did win one that year. Good.
2023, they won the division. They lost to the Packers.
That was embarrassing last year, though. Really
I
bad.
I don't get why people don't see that. The guy went 36-15 through 3 years, won 2 division titles, and everybody thinks he's a terrible coach. But Mike Tomlin can skate by? I don't get it.
All right.
I don't get it. But do you think
Yes, I think somebody
yes?
will be stupid enough to buy into what you just said. I think somebody will do it.
I think that he's a head coach next season. Not saying that he'll ever win a Super Bowl, but there are worse candidates out there.
I think the best
Than Mike McCarthy.
I think the best offseason coach has already been hired. And that was the Patriots, getting Mike Vrabel over the weekend.
I disagree with that too.
I know you're not a Mike Vrabel fan.
I think he's
But
mediocre at best.
See, I don't look just at the record. I look at what the team has and what the coach does with that. Mike Vrabel always does more with what he has. I think Mike McCarthy always does less.
Do you think
I just feel that way.
Mike Vrabel had A.J. Brown, he had Derrick Henry.
And they traded them all away. He had Ryan Tannehill winning games and going to the AFC Championship. I can tell you from experience, doing that was a miraculous achievement. Please,
I don't.
Ryan Tannehill, come on.
If we're talking winning in the playoffs, guess what? The Tennessee Titans, in the 3 years that he was good, that Vrabel had his team pretty good, lost just like Mike McCarthy did in the playoffs.
Well, they got to the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs not that many years ago.
In 2019.
All right. Well, that was a Ryan Tannehill team, so that's...
Ryan Tannehill was a serviceable quarterback there for a second. Okay?
Move on.
All right. I will
Number
move
4.
on.
Number 4.
I wanted to keep going, but I won't.
I know.
The divisional round is almost set and will be after tonight's Monday Night Football game. Here are the matchups.
All right.
And you're going to pick, actually, I'm up first, which underdog team is going to shock the world.
Okay.
So Texans at Chiefs, Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Texans have to play the Saturday 1:30 p.m. game. It is a law at this point because that's usually the only game they play in
They
the playoffs.
always do get that first playoff
It's
game.
so weird. And the Chiefs do too, whenever they play. Commanders at Lions, Saturday night, 5 p.m.
Don't understand that.
You want it to be Sunday.
No, I think the Commanders-Lions is one of the worst games of the 4.
Interesting.
And they're putting that one in prime time. I don't get it.
Vikings, Rams at the Eagles, they have to have this one on Sunday because one of the teams is going to be playing tonight.
Right.
Sunday at 12 p.m. Then Ravens at Bills, Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
That's the game.
That is the game.
To me, that should be on the prime time Saturday night. But then, they don't ask me this stuff. The Bills did have to play yesterday, so maybe they wanted to give them an extra day. I don't know who's going to pull off a shocker because
I'm up first.
Oh, you're up. Go ahead.
And
Who do
it's
you
the
got?
game that you said was the worst on the schedule.
It is.
I feel like, and I'm going, even though I said that the Chargers were going to win hands down, the Lions are going to lose this game because they are overconfident. Way too overconfident.
Yeah,
this
but
entire year they've been overconfident.
Understand that Skraby has hated the Lions ever since they took over as the team in the NFC from the 49ers. So just understand that he hates the Lions, and he's been saying all year that the Lions are going to get their comeuppance.
One and done.
We'll see if you're right. I don't think you're going to be
2
right.
weeks in a row, I'm going to be looking like a fool, Chris. But
Yeah.
I don't care because they're going to lose.
Yeah, you are good at
Who's
looking.
your
You're good at
upset?
looking like a fool. I think the Eagles will lose to either the Rams or Vikings.
Really?
That's my upset pick next
Wow,
week.
they looked good yesterday.
They lost a key defensive player.
They did.
I also think Jalen Hurts is not quite right yet.
I agree.
He played gutty, but he's not quite right. And I think the Vikings especially can go and beat the Eagles. You asked me, that's what I'm telling you.
I'm shocked at that one. But
Okay.
that's a good one. That's
right.
a good one because I thought there's no way Should I say it again? The Texans beat the Chiefs?
It really doesn't seem likely. The Bills and Ravens is just...
That's a toss-up.
It's not only a toss-up, but sit back, relax, and just enjoy that game. You're going to get to see two of the most exciting players in the last 15 years going head-to-head. I think that should be great.
NFL made a mistake. They should have reseeded these guys to put them in the AFC Championship together.
Well,
but
you can't. The Chiefs are in the way.
You're right.
Deservedly so.
Miami basketball coach Jim Larrañaga.
Nope.
Larrañaga, we went over this like 5 times. I feel like Tony Gwynn Jr. right now.
You asked me a bunch.
Miami basketball coach Jim Larrañaga is no longer the Miami basketball coach because of the way recruiting and NIL has changed in college sports. He said at his press conference, quote, "In order to win, you've got to be totally committed. And at this point, after 53 years, I just didn't feel like I could successfully navigate this whole new world I was dealing with because my conversations were ridiculous with an agent saying to me, well, you can get involved if you're willing to go up to 1.1 million. Like what? $1 million and that's the norm? That was the norm? This is him. You're talking to people that expect $1 million for playing college basketball, end quote. In college basketball alone, Larrañaga follows legends like Tony Bennett, Jim Boeheim, Mike Bray, Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, and Jay Wright to retire in the last several years, many directly pointing to the sports changing landscape. Chris, what do you think when these coaches require and claim the NIL landscape is the reason for them leaving?
I think it's fair. I think if you're an old dog like me, sometimes it's hard to learn the new trick. And the new trick is a bit slimy, I think, to a lot of these guys. You know? I mean, Larrañaga pointed out that when Miami went to the Final Four 2 years ago, remember they were in there the year the Aztecs were in the Final Four. They lost to Connecticut before the Aztecs lost to Connecticut.
True, yeah.
So they went to the Final Four. And Larrañaga said that 8 of his guys transferred because they wanted more money. I mean, I just took you to the Final Four. That wasn't close to enough. And he also works at a school that just gave Carson Beck $4 million.
That's true.
Which is 4 times the salary of Jaden Daniels.
That's insane.
Right? Okay, so it's insane.
He's making more than Brock Purdy. He's making more than Jaden Daniels. He's making more than a lot of quarterbacks right now on that rookie deal.
Right. All right, and he's not the only one. That's just one guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair. It's understandable that this whole notion is just not where you want to be. I don't blame a lot of guys.
I agree with you 99%.
Okay.
There's 1% of me that these guys are just mad they can't have their control over what they want to have their control over.
You hear that, and it's not awful to say that. You might be right.
I do understand.
Because Krzyzewski and those guys, they're used to just running roughshod over everybody.
Yeah, you're a good player. You want to play for Duke? Okay, come on over. Oh, wait, no, I have to pay you $3 million now? Ooh, let me think about that.
Yeah.
But I do think that the new landscape is very challenging for not just these guys, but every single coach out there.
Yeah, to me, it makes you feel like you're what do they call it, a snake oil salesman now rather than a basketball coach.
You kind of,
And I think a lot of guys are very uncomfortable with that.
Number 2.
Pretty bad story. A 55-year-old Texas man was arrested on a felony stalking charge in Indianapolis on Sunday after he allegedly sent threats and sexually violent messages to Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark via social media. According to these court documents, police records show that Michael Lewis of Denton, Texas, was charged with a level 5 felony after he was arrested at a hotel in Indy. He is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning, and he could face up to 6 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Just a few messages from him to Caitlin Clark that have been released are one of them.
Do we have to hear these? I mean, is
they're not that
is it
bad.
imperative?
They're not that bad.
Okay, go ahead.
Quote, been driving around your house 3 times a day is what he messaged her. And then he also messaged her, but don't call the law just yet. So these are just the very, very tame messages that Caitlin Clark has been receiving.
Worse.
I'm up first. Does the WNBA need to step up security? I think after what we saw last year with someone waiting for Angel Reese to get off the bus and certain players now becoming bigger than life, yes, WNBA needs to step up their security, and they need to take this very seriously because people don't take stalking charges serious, but they should, because stalking is one of the most it's
invasive. It's very invasive.
Invasive, and it's also very dangerous.
And it can go beyond that.
It can
if
go
you're not
beyond
careful.
that. You're right.
You're 100% right. The WNBA is getting more attention, more acclaim, and that means they have to step things up. On the other side, is there not a special place we can just build and throw all of these stalkers in there and just forget about them forever?
I think it's called Australia, Chris.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm just
God,
kidding
these
to all the
people
Australians out there.
They're not the lowest of the low, but they're lean. As Nick
close.
Canepa likes to say, they're leaning at the tape, which means you're threatening to be the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
Stalking, come on.
Yeah, I had a friend who was stalked in
Awful.
college, and she went to the police. She went to the university police.
It's hard to get people to do anything about it, I would think.
Exactly. They're like, oh, he just sent you a few messages. And she's like, no, he's like showing up on my... No one cared. Stalking...
How about this? One message is enough.
One message. Stalking is a serious thing, everybody. Be on the lookout for it.
Number 1.
Here's another terrible story. But a man decked out in Philadelphia Eagles gear berated a female Packers fan on Sunday, clapping in her face and calling her the C word. And at least part of the ugly scene was captured on video and footage that they posted to X last night. You could see after refs changed the ruling on the field, a man in a green Eagles jacket got in his fiance's ear, clapped a few times, and yelled, "Short of the goal line, you dip bleep. It's not a touchdown." And then
His fiance was a Packer fan?
her fiance, okay, Eagles fan yelling at this couple.
Okay.
And the couple is posting the video because they had the video.
Okay.
He went on and he said, later on he said, quote, "She's an ugly, dumb bleep. Turn around. Watch the game, bleep."
Yeah.
So this is all on video. The Packers fan put this online to find out who the guy is. If and or when they catch this fan, Chris, what is his punishment?
Same thing as the Yankee fans got. Would be nice.
Thought you were going to go there. That's where I'm going to.
It would be nice. I don't know that they'll do it. That said, Packer fans have never been known to be great. If we can start cleaning up some of these NFL fans, I think it would be... The league is so popular as it is, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people that don't want to go to a game because they don't want to subject themselves to this possibility. And it would be great if the league could put a little steam behind the message, which is fan behavior.
Yep.
You know, don't just make an announcement before the game, but actually throw some people out and keep them out.
Yeah, I fully agree with everything.
Especially
I saw the
when you
video.
got the video there. Hey,
it was terrible.
That's all you need.
It was terrible. This couple's just trying to enjoy their game, and you know what? We're all fine with some fun banter with the fans, but when you start yelling at someone and profanities, you're over the line. So
quite a bit. All right,
That's
you,
it for the Big Five.
Good Big Five. More Gwynn and Chris starts with a daily gambit.
I had a big parlay.
Costello and Matt Skraby today with Tony Gwynn, Jr. Idol. Tony will be back tomorrow for a full 4-hour show. Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. 3:01 is the time. We got to get right to it because our Daily Gambit has a bunch of stuff in it. Before we get to that, though, quick headline update. Roki Sasaki, we've been talking about it quite a bit on the show today, that he was in San Diego over the weekend. Jeff Passan, who knows as much as anybody, I would think, Scrabe, says that it is officially now down to 3 teams. And that's it. Dodgers, Padres, or Blue Jays. Decision to be made within the next 10 days, January 23rd. Although the window opens on Wednesday.
Yes.
So he has basically from Wednesday to Wednesday to decide or make his announcement.
Wouldn't you just want to make the announcement and move on with your life?
It would help, make my life a little easier if he would just...
Yeah, I'm saying if you're Roki.
He's got to say Padres. If he says any other team, then I don't care what he does. But
I will throw my
If it's
pen.
Dodgers, we're... Okay, don't say it, Chris. Don't put it out there.
Yeah, don't put it out there. We just
right.
we just erased it. We just erased it.
That's the latest there. Mike McCarthy is out as Dallas Cowboys coach, and tonight it's Vikings-Rams. Final first-round playoff game. We'll have it for you on 97.3 The Fan, beginning coverage at 4:30 from Phoenix or Glendale, Arizona. Our good, bad, and ugly of the first 5 NFL football playoff games is coming up at the bottom of this hour. Right now, Skraby, Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. We're going to go over the bets we made last week.
Don't do what Skraby did, even though he won. You did a 5-team parlay, and you're excited.
We're going to go over it.
I'm glad for you, but it was still...
I talk about my losses daily.
Yes, that's all the time.
I get a win, okay?
I know, but you lose a lot to win one. That's what I'm telling people. Be careful.
Yes, I agree.
What'd you hit?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Ohio State and Texas. Ohio State 6-point favorites last Friday. We all chose Texas. We were all wrong, 28-14.
We were 1 yard away
State.
from being right.
It's true.
And then it went the other way.
The Thunder at the Knicks. Chris and I chose OKC. OKC 4-point favorite. OKC wins 126-1.
This is Friday night action, yes.
Yes. Now, Maryland and UCLA. Maryland with 5.5-point favorites over the weekend. I think it was on Friday.
It was Friday, yeah.
Chris and I chose Maryland because of the whole rant that Mick Cronin went on, calling his team delusional. How did they respond? Well, they responded terribly. They lost 79-61.
And then he spent he spent everything after that game calling the refs delusional.
Usually when you're throwing out words, you got to point that finger right back at yourself, sir.
I would think so. Yeah,
Blaming
that's right.
everybody
What is
else.
it when you point? There's 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Me, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he went off on the officials after that game. I mean, Mick, relax. Coach your team.
Relax.
Yeah.
We did a bet on who had more rushing yards in their game, Lamar Jackson -7 or Josh Allen. I went Lamar Jackson. You guys went Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson had 81 yards, -774. Josh Allen had 46.
Yeah.
So I
Lamar
win that one.
wins.
Now, between the running backs, who had more rushing yards? Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry? And Saquon Barkley was -3. Chris and I chose Derrick Henry, and we took the right guy because he had 186 yards.
Pretty
and
solid
Saquon
game.
had
I'll tell you, the
119.
Ravens are tough to beat when they give him the ball. Again, we mentioned it last week. When they don't give him the ball, they lose. Hopefully, John Harbaugh, for Raven fans, has figured that out.
I can't think of a better signing for a team in the last 10 years.
Pretty good.
It's changed everything about them because Derrick Henry is amazing.
And they were already good.
And they were
before
already
that.
good. And they put him in, and they're really, really good. Now, people ask, how is Derrick Henry doing this? If you don't know, he puts millions of dollars into his body in the offseason and throughout the season. He's constantly changing his diets. He's constantly doing new,
King Henry, man.
he's just always doing something to get better.
Running right to the Hall of Fame, I say.
All right, final one. Passing yards. Who had more, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts? Tony and I chose Jordan Love, and that's who won. 212. Yeah, Jordan Love had 212, so -7, 205. Jalen Hurts only 131.
Jordan Love had 205?
Yep.
Thought that's what he threw in interceptions.
That is true. And then here is my big old parlay.
Parlay win. Let's hear it.
This is a legal bet. So I put $15 on a 22 times boosted bet. 5 legs.
I don't understand the 22 times boosted bet. What does
Because
that
I'll tell
mean?
you, CJ Stroud, I chose over 13.5 rushing yards in the game. He had 42. And that
Good.
happened early. And
So you were out of the way on that one.
there's nothing better than getting one out of the way early.
Right, unless he, tried to sweep and lost 42 yards, you were
I was
safe.
looking
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey, wide receiver Chargers. Here's the boosted. His real line was like 70-something yards. They said, do you want to go over 105.5 yards for Lad McConkey and you get extra points?
And you did that.
And I did. He had 197 yards.
Well, he got 80 of it on
I know.
that catch.
Then Joe Mixon. Is it Joe Mixon?
Yes.
Joe Mixon. More than 70.5 rushing yards. He had 106.
I would have bet against Joe Mixon. I thought the Chargers were tougher than that, but they weren't, man.
Derwin James.
They got run over.
More. I said he's going to have more than 5.5 tackles plus assisted tackles. He had 7.
Okay.
Finally, George Pickens. More than 56.5 receiving yards. He had 87.
Winner.
That $15 gave me $330, baby.
Well, dinner is on you tonight.
Dinner.
There's
I've
no chronicle, so right
I
after
know.
the show we can go out.
I
No
already
excuses.
Put that into my savings.
No
Chris.
excuses.
I already put it into my.
I just want to let you. That's a great win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But when you lose the next 18 in a row, that means that you've given the $300 back. I'm just telling you.
Absolutely. No,
All right.
I know.
I'm
I
just
know.
telling you.
And I didn't tell you about the one that I lost over the weekend.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's stick with your win.
Okay.
As far as our picks were concerned, real quick, Skraby was 4-1, but the one he missed was his 6-point game.
Oh, we're talking about the playoffs.
Yes, real quick. Yeah, Skraby took the Chargers, and he lost that. So he has 14 points despite a 4-1 record. Tony's 3-2, but has 15 points, and I didn't do well. 2-3, only 8 points. Tonight, Skraby and I have the Vikings. Tony has the Rams.
Basically, if the Vikings win, I win the week.
We'll
Or
see how
actually
it
we'll
turns.
tie.
No, you would tie because you have a 1 point
Yeah,
on the line
that's
tonight.
true.
Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But here's our picks for tonight. I think this is an interesting one right off the bat. Puka Nacua, -1 yard receiving against Justin Jefferson.
Wait,
Who you going with there?
Oh. I was
Yeah.
like, minus. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
Puka, -1, Jefferson. So if you take Puka, he's got to get 2 more receiving yards.
Wow.
Then Justin Jefferson, one of the greats. I'm going to take Puka. I think the Rams are going to need to throw to him a bunch.
I think you're
hang in
right.
the game.
I think you're right.
Puka's really good.
He is. He's got amazing body control. Some of these catches where he gets 2 feet down, I didn't even think were possible.
Jefferson is great. No taking away, but a lot of times they go away from him for some reason.
Well, because everybody covers him.
Yeah.
I'll go Puka as well.
Okay. Now, this one seems like a gimme, but we'll see what you think. Sam Darnold, passing yardage, -20 yards, or Matthew Stafford. That means if you take Stafford, you get to add 20 yards.
I know.
Who you taking there?
I'm going to go Stafford. That 20
seems
yards
like a
seems
gimme.
valuable. Seems very valuable.
Is Darnold going to really outpass Matthew Stafford even by 1 yard,
He could.
let alone by 20?
He could. Well, I don't know about 20. I mean,
I could take Stafford also.
Yeah.
All right, into the NBA. Lakers are home to the Spurs. How are the Lakers doing these days? I haven't really checked in on them recently.
they're not good.
They're not bad. They're still 6th in the West, which gets them out of the play-in tournament, but they're 20-16. Spurs have been struggling. They're 18-19. Lakers favored by 4. Lakers at home. Spurs are not ready to win on the road. And you know what? I didn't realize that the Spurs, I automatically don't like them now.
Why?
I didn't realize this until I watched some highlights the other night. Chris Paul's on that team now.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, he's so annoying. One of the most annoying athletes in all of sports.
Can't stand him.
It truly is. All right, who do you like? Lakers -4. Spurs in L.A.
Lakers -4.
Are they playing
Spurs
in
LA.
L.A., actually?
No, I don't know about that.
Well, it says it's in L.A., so I haven't heard they're changing it. Clippers are also playing at home tonight, according to the schedule. Neither game has been moved or changed, according to this.
So why did the Rams have to move?
You brought up a good point as to why they needed to move.
Well,
Too many
these-
first
But
responders.
these games have first responders too.
Yeah,
That's weird. Okay.
that is a little weird.
I will go. Lakers are going to play with heart. I'm going to go with Lakers.
All right.
Who did you take?
I took the Lakers
Yeah,
also. Ant-Man at the Wizards tonight. Ant-Man is our favorite. Minnesota Timberwolves. Talk about a guy that behaves really well on the court. You want your kids to watch Ant-Man.
He got fined again, didn't he?
God, is he out of control out there.
I
But
haven't seen this.
can I say, 26.5 points for the Ant-Man tonight, Skrabe. You know what he does? He shows off that side of himself that he portrayed in that
Oh, Kermit.
Adam Sandler movie that he was so good in
Never
as the
remember what it's
bad
called.
guy.
He was great in that. Kermit.
He was really good.
His name was Kermit.
But he channels that character out on the court sometimes.
That was one of the better movies I think I watched in the last
liked
couple
it.
years.
What was it actually called? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
We have to look it up. Go ahead, make your pick.
The Wizards are awful.
Right.
So I'm going to say
Ant-Man-
he's not in there long enough to get 27 points. I'm going to go under.
Interesting. Okay, I think he'll be in there long enough that if they try to take him out, he'll choke the coach probably.
Who was that? Latrell Sprewell?
No, yeah, that's what he.
When
did.
I was a kid, that was a huge story when he choked
Almost everybody. All right, here UCLA's back in action tonight. Mick Cronin. Who's he going to yell out after this game?
I don't know.
Bruins at Rutgers. This is what you get for going into Big Ten. A trip to Maryland, followed by New Jersey.
Joyzy.
And then, have fun on the 6.5-hour flight home, UCLA. Anyway, that's what you get for going into the Big Ten. UCLA is favored, believe it or not.
Wow.
By 2.5 points.
How bad is Rutgers?
They can't be very good because UCLA is really struggling right now, and the players are delusional.
Yep.
He's got to win one. I'm going to take Mick Cronin tonight. Say his kids back him up.
Rutgers isn't too bad. They're 8-8.
Okay.
They're playing at Jersey Mike's Arena
Yeah, it's at
in
Rutgers.
Piscataway.
Piscataway.
I'm going to go with Rutgers.
Going to take the Scarlet Knights.
Yes.
Attaboy. All right, one hockey game because we haven't checked in on hockey in a
Hustle
while.
is the movie. Hustle. Thank
yeah,
you.
see that
Thank you,
movie?
Danny.
It's on
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
It's great.
Great movie, Hustle. If you like basketball at all, it's great. If you like Adam Sandler at all, it's great. Now, if you don't like those things, then you're not going to like it.
If you like great movies, it's
But
great.
it's a really good movie, and Anthony Edwards is kind of the bad guy, and he's very good
Very
as the
convincing.
bad guy. Does a hell of a job. That's I liked it. You liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, hockey tonight. Just to check in on the Pacific Division standings. Las Vegas, otherwise known as Vegas, right? They're the
Yeah.
Vegas Golden Knights. Don't
VGK.
call them Las Vegas. They're in first place by 2.5 games. But the Oilers and Kings are tied for second. And they play each other tonight in Edmonton. Talk about a road trip.
Yeah, that is a road
Go to
trip.
Edmonton if you're the Kings tonight. Edmonton's favored by 1.5 goals. Scraby.
I always like to check out the weather for some
I was just
reason.
doing the same thing. Edmonton
39
weather.
degrees, not too
It's
bad.
balmy in
Although
Edmonton
on Saturday Sunday the high is going to be -3. So
today. Yeah, well, it was balmy today.
1.5 goals for the Oilers.
No, Edmonton's favored.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Oilers.
You're going to take them anyway. I'll take the Kings responding to the balmy weather outside. Okay, there we go. Our picks are in for the day. Let's take a break. When we come back, Aztecs kind of laid the proverbial egg, I must say, Saturday in Albuquerque. Talk about what went wrong for Brian Dutcher and company. Hey, look, we love the Aztecs more than anyone on this show. So when they play poorly, we got to Call it out.
We do.
And they just did not play
This
well.
isn't the Lakers. We just don't bury the Lakers whenever they don't play well. This is a shot at Tony
As
Gwynn
in
Jr.
Tony, I won't even talk about him if they lose. But, I was disappointing day, but we'll talk about it when we come back. More Gwynn and Chris after traffic.
From the 855.
All right, we're right back at you. 3:22 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby today. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s idol. He'll be back with us tomorrow, full 4 hours. Mañana. NCAA men's basketball. New AP Top 25 is out. Congrats to the Auburn Tigers. They're on top now. Chad Baker-Mazzara, former Aztec, on that club.
I was going to say that name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, well, he's with Auburn. They're on top. There's no undefeated teams left now in college basketball. So Auburn's 15-1. Iowa State, number 2. I don't ever remember Iowa State getting that high in the rankings. Cooper Flagg had a 42-point game over the weekend for Duke.
That.
They're number 3. And then the SEC. Alabama, Florida, Tennessee. Tennessee fell to 6th after that 30-point beatdown against Florida. The Aztecs are not ranked, as you may
they kind of
have gathered.
took themselves out of the running over the weekend.
They really didn't play well Saturday. And, here's what happened in my estimation. You have a lot of freshmen on this team. You have a lot of new guys. But freshmen, young guys, transfers, you're going to altitude for really the first time, and you're doing it at the pit. And I don't think any player would admit this, but I think they were intimidated.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. They didn't play with their usual chest puffed out, The Aztecs aren't arrogant, but they play confidently.
Yeah.
They kind of shrunk the other day.
Interesting.
And I'm going to say, I could be wrong because I'm not in their minds, but the pit, it can be so intimidating if you've never been there.
I haven't.
And I'll tell you one thing, as a broadcaster, I've been nervous my first couple of times in there, and I don't even play in the game.
Why?
I don't know, because the people are just on you. And you just feel nervous for your team out on the floor for some reason. I felt it. Anyway, I thought that was kind of a part of it. Obviously, statistically, the rebounding was what absolutely destroyed them. New Mexico had 18 offensive rebounds. The Aztecs had 3. You can't give your opponent that many more opportunities to score than you have. New Mexico took 67 shots. The Aztecs took 48. So you can throw the rest of the stuff out. But if one team takes 20 more field goal attempts, they're probably going to win. They don't even have to make, they're going to make 5 or 6 more out of 20, maybe more. Anyway, that's what beat them. The Aztecs didn't shoot great from 3 in the first half. They turned it over too much in the first half, but it was really the rebounding. And New Mexico just had one of those days. The ball bounced their way. The Aztecs could not get their hands on a rebound.
As a fan watching games, offensive rebounds are the most frustrating thing to watch.
Absolutely. When you play defense for 30 seconds and you bear down and a weak, bad shot goes up and then they get it and pass it out, and you're doing it again, and it's happening the entire night, or day as in this case, it was just a tough day. But Brian Dutcher's teams, and this is going to be the challenge tomorrow night because they host Colorado State tomorrow night. The challenge tomorrow night, will they be able to shake it off? They're home to Colorado State, as I said. Last 38 games after a loss, the Aztecs have won 34.
Ooh, okay.
That's incredible what Brian Dutcher just always does. It's not even like kinda. He's done this all the time. So, we'll see if the Aztecs can just, I think the word, which I don't really like, but the phrase is flush it.
Oh.
Never been a big fan of that, but
you got to flush it.
You got to flush the loss to New Mexico. Turn your attentions to the Rams tomorrow. Anyway,
I just forgot what I was going to. Oh, speaking of Colorado State, we have tickets to give away during Chris vs. the Fans.
Yes.
So if you win that,
it's
you'll
gonna
get
be a
some
good
tickets.
game. Colorado State's always good. Always good. And it'll be it's always a great atmosphere at Viejas Arena. So you can win some tickets. Stay
how
tuned
was your
for
trip? We didn't hear anything about the basketball last week. You were gone last week, but we didn't hear about what
the
happened.
women lost one and won one and then lost one. Nat Martinez, the young lady who was
Oh,
in
yeah.
studio, was named the Freshman of the Week for the third time.
Third?
Yeah.
Wow.
Already, so good for her.
Hey, both sides of the men's and women's basketball programs have great freshmen because the men's team has had a few guys win, and then the women's team she did 3 times.
She's won 3. Naomi, the other gal that came in, has won 2. So the
Dang.
2 of them have combined for 5.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. But we had a lot of fun. I told you that the charter over there, they had the broken bathroom. Well, they had the same broken bathroom on the way back.
No.
Yeah. And we sat on the charter for an hour while they tried to find some sort of something so that we could get going. And then they came on and they said, "Oh, I think we're going to finally get to go." And I said, "I got to get off and go use
the bathroom?"
Yes.
Oh.
We sat for an hour, and now you're going to have a 2.5-hour flight, and you're
Yeah,
telling me I'm not going to be
okay.
able to go?
I understand that.
And, so it was...
They didn't have
They
didn't
were-
try to fix it?
They did.
They had a day.
It was. I know. They had a whole 2 days to
2
2
days.
days to fix the bathroom.
The
They never
plane's
did.
sitting there.
Fix the bathroom. Come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That
And then it
is-
was. I'm going to tell you a little funny story. We landed last night. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? We landed at Brown Field.
Okay.
Why I don't know, but we did. And it was funny because no one inside the plane knew that we were there. Except me and John Silver, the assistant coach, was sitting next to me because we looked out the window and I said, "Boy, this doesn't look like
Same.
the usual landing."
Yeah.
So John looked at his phone and it said we were at Brown Field. So we get off the plane. We're all standing outside, and Greg Gottlieb, one of the other assistants, is talking to Stacy Terry Hudson, and Greg is, "Where are we? Are we like on the other side of the airport? I don't recognize this." And I said, "No, we're not even at the airport. We're at Brown Field." And he's like, "Oh." So it's funny. Then we jumped on the bus. The charter lands. The bus comes out to the tarmac.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it is very nice. You walk over to the bus. We sit down on the bus, and we start driving away. And we're like, "Where's our luggage?" It takes time for the luggage to come from the plane to be walked over to the bus. And all of us were like, "That's too soon. Like, there's no way they could have put the luggage." Lo and behold, bus driver had to circle back around. We could put our luggage on the plane.
Oh my
It was,
goodness.
or on the bus. Yeah, it was just one
Man,
of those.
this whole trip was kind
It
of
was kind of, it was cattywampus, as I like
At
to say.
least it was the bathroom that was broken instead of like
the
a
engine,
flap or
the
an
engine or the landing gear would be bad.
Yeah, something like that.
But the bathroom made
like
it
a
on.
wing falling off would be pretty bad.
That'd be poor. Yeah.
It would be poor.
All right. When we come back, the good, the bad, and the ugly assigned to each of the 5 playoff games that were played over the weekend, along with some highlights. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. YouTube chat that we know we eat a little food from time to time during the breaks.
Not me.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You do too.
Where?
You go get your salad like at 5 o'clock a lot of times. I've seen you. Anyway, but it never fails that if I take a bite of my sports bar, then the music starts playing and the show's back.
And then your voice goes.
And then my voice goes.
I'm ready for that to happen next.
It could. It could. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's. Authentic Mediterranean cuisine. Coronado, La Jolla. For dine or takeout options, Spiro'sCuisine.com. Thank you, Tony. He'll be back tomorrow. Gwynn and Chris today for another hour. We just saw Skraby's guy, Kevin O'Connell, come walking into the facility down in Glendale, Arizona.
He looked at the TV through me and he said,
looks confident.
Skrabe, this one's for you, bro.
The thing that's funny is you keep talking like you're best buddies with him. I actually worked with the guy for like 2 years. He was our sideline reporter when Ted and I did the Aztec games.
I played football with him for 4.
Yeah, but you never talked to him.
Are you kidding me?
You never spoke to
We
the guy.
were born on the same day of the same year. Greatness was born on May 25th, 1985.
Got you.
Thank you.
All right, let's check traffic, and then I'm looking forward to this. The good, the bad, and the ugly assigned to every one of the 5 playoff games this weekend.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Guys, the last thing we need to see are brush fires. Apparently there's one on southbound 15 near Miramar Road. It's over to the right shoulder. Also getting reports of a possible fire near the SeaWorld Drive off-ramp, northbound 5, over to the right shoulder. Encampment fire there. North 5 coastline, just before Tamarack, reports of a possible fire. Some smoke visible over to the right shoulder. Southbound side of the 5, past Cannon, got a collision blocking the right lane, as well as the Cannon on-ramp. Also southbound side of the 805 before the 54, getting reports of a crash over to the right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danik with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go. The NFL Wild Card Weekend, broken down the way only we can do it. Start with the first game. Chargers charging into Houston to take on the Texans. Well, the good. I went with Nico Collins here. He broke the game open. Like, it was a defensive stalemate for the first 20, 25 minutes. It was 6-0. Nobody was doing anything. And then he finally broke free on a couple of passes. Next thing you knew, he was in the end zone, and the Texans had the lead.
Stroud looking, throwing over the middle. Hits Nico. Across the goal line he goes. Touchdown, Houston! The Texans tie the game and can take the lead with the extra point.
They did take the lead, and they never looked back. Nico Collins, 7 catches, 122 yards. And, we talked about it. The Texans has dominated the game from that point on. The bad, got to go with this guy.
Herbert looking, firing left side, and intercepted. Murray across the 20, 15, 10, 5, rock and roll, pick 6.
Yeah, Justin Herbert picked a
Terrible
bad
call, by
day
the way.
to have it. Yeah, not a good call for a pick 6 there. Justin Herbert picked a bad day for a bad day. 4 interceptions, more than he threw all season. That's incredible. He
That's
threw
what I
3
wanted
in the
to bring
regular
up.
year. And I know people think he choked. He didn't. He had a bad day. He threw the ball a little high on that one. McConkey couldn't quite get it. He threw the other one a little wide. The tight end couldn't get it. It got picked off. All I'm going to say about Justin Herbert is I really like this guy as a quarterback, but he is put on too high of a pedestal for what he's accomplished. I mean, you got to wait till he wins a couple of playoff games until you put him in the rarefied air, and I think people always want to put him there, and he's not quite there yet.
I agree that he's not quite there yet because he has to win. You're right. But, I mean, the guy had a pretty flawless regular season. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but, like, there are so many of those national talking heads that say he's a bad quarterback.
People have given up on him just like that.
I don't understand
After one
it.
bad game, now Justin Herbert's the worst.
But doesn't Justin Herbert and Tua have the same amount of playoff wins?
Yes.
0.
Correct. All right, the ugly.
Which I bring up Tua because they're forever linked.
Right, the Dolphins had their choice.
Yes, between Tua or Herbert.
Yeah. The ugly from the Charger-Texans game was simply watching the Chargers choke again. From whether San Diego, there you go, San Diego, Los Angeles, they can't get it right. I mean, you go all the way back to the Patriot game back in the day, the 2 Jets losses 2 years ago at Jacksonville. I mean, this is kind of the norm for the Chargers. And we all said before the game that this year they're not going to Charger because of Jim Harbaugh. He's bigger than that.
Yeah.
Guess what?
He's not.
He's not. At least he wasn't yet on Saturday.
Still got Dino in charge.
Dino's still looking down from above.
I got to say, this did bother me a lot.
Okay.
The coverage of... How do I put this without seeming like a hater? The coverage that they gave the LA Chargers about the fires, like, and the connection they made, and Dean wearing the LAFD hat, it did bother me.
Thought that was a little staged.
Yes. Thank you, Chris. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm not saying that it's insensitive or it's not meant. They're not meaning it to be like, whatever. You said it right. Staged.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to at least take a nod in the direction of these fire victims, though, no matter
No,
what.
of course. I'm not saying anything about the people that
I know.
passed away, but the team itself, like they only donated, and I say only, they donated $200,000. You know what the Texans donated? $1 million. How does the team in the town that the fires are affecting not donate as much as a team from Houston?
Because a team in the town is owned by a cheapskate.
Okay, good point.
All right, on to Saturday night's game, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. And I was the one who gave Pittsburgh a shot here. I thought the familiarity, the fact that they've always contained Lamar Jackson, and maybe the Steelers would get something going, but it just did not happen. The Ravens completely dominated, and the good was their running game. 299 yards on the ground in a playoff game, please. And then when they didn't have that, Lamar went to the air.
Deep drop. Jackson surveys. Jackson fires. Caught. Touchdown. Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, they got it going right away. And the Steelers just were really never in the game. I am such a Mike Tomlin fan that I, was hoping to have some ammunition, but I don't have any after that game. But he wasn't the bad. The bad was the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. I don't know why you hired this guy in the first place. He wasn't effective as a head coach. The first half, Pittsburgh Steelers, 49 yards and 2 first downs. Baltimore had 19 first downs. No wonder their defense fell apart as the game went on. They never even got the rest. You've got to do something.
Yeah.
You have to do something in a playoff game, please. It was awful.
You do. That was pretty bad. And like you said, why did you hire Arthur
I don't
Smith?
get it. That was Mike Tomlin's mistake. And in the ugly category, it's the Steeler fans as they form that circle and close in around Mike Tomlin, hoping for his demise.
I mean, they did lose 5 straight to end the year.
They did, and they've lost 6 straight playoff games going back 10 years now. So those who hate Tomlin in Pittsburgh, I'll say this: you got a ton more ammunition the other night.
The only thing
I
can say is
I don't agree with you. I still like him, but I don't have a leg to stand on at the moment.
Sometimes a change in scenery is needed.
That can happen.
And Mike
You could be
Tomlin,
right.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I think he is a good coach.
Maybe
I
they
love
need to
his
move on.
motivational factors.
Maybe they need to move on.
Maybe they need to move on.
We'll see.
You know what they could do? They could promote Arthur Smith to head coach.
That would be really smart, yes. Okay, on to Sunday we go. In Buffalo, the Bills 31, the Broncos 7. The game turned on one magical play in the third quarter. It was 4th down, and they were on the 24-yard line, something like that. And Buffalo was 4th down. If Denver stops them, they get the ball back trailing by only 6. And it looked like they had Josh Allen dead to rights. And as he does so many times, he got away. And then he threw the ball to just an area. And Ty Johnson, who I don't even know anyone's ever heard of,
He's like a backup of a backup.
Yeah, came sliding in from nowhere. He didn't really keep his feet down. He got them up in the air so that they didn't touch the out of bounds.
That
It
was incredible.
Ridiculous. Here's what it was.
Big play here. Trying to go up top for
He
it.
wants to run for it, Jim. He wants to just go get it with his legs. He's trying to find
It
the
wasn't
opening.
there, so now he's got to throw it deep to the end zone. And was that caught? Yes! Ty Johnson scrapes it off the ground, above the ground for the touchdown.
Now, how do you feel about guys asking you questions on TV?
TV's a little different because I can at least see what's
See it,
happening.
okay.
Yeah, they got the 2-point conversion. Now it's 21-7, and Buffalo was on its way. That's the kind of thing that Josh Allen can do. That was the good. The bad is I don't mean to be critical of Sean Payton, but you start the game with a bomb, then you follow that up with a fake punt. You're playing loose. You're taking chances. And then they didn't do any of that the rest of the game. It was clear if you watched it, Denver's not as good as Buffalo. They're just not yet. It's okay. But if you're not as good, keep trying stuff. And they interviewed Sean Payton at halftime, and he said, we made a bunch of adjustments. We're going to get their running game under control. Didn't work. They didn't make any adjustments. Most playoff teams go on the road that are young teams, and they're way too conservative. At least Denver came out aggressive. I think it was bad that they did not stay aggressive.
I do like Bo Nix, though. I think he can do some things.
He might do some things.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, although he missed some throws.
He did.
As a lot of young quarterbacks do. Ugly, very simple. The Broncos' orange pants. It's your first playoff appearance in 10 years. Denver looked like a bunch of clowns out there. They just did. If you haven't seen a photo or watched that game, check out those pants. Come on.
It's like neon orange. It's not even
my
orange.
wife was aghast, and she's a Bronco fan.
Yeah.
And, sticks up for them being from Denver, but she was like, oh, my goodness. What are we doing?
That was an interesting choice.
Yeah. All right. On to the Sunday afternoon game. Philadelphia takes out Green Bay 22-10. The good from this game, I thought, was the toughness of the Philadelphia Eagles. It was exemplified on this 24-yard touchdown reception by Dallas Goedert.
Rolling here, quick throw near side. Good adjustment and a catch by Goddard, who runs over his man, still on his feet, and he scores! What a play by Dallas Goedert!
Yeah, the poor guy that he toyed with was cornerback Carrington Valentine, and he just abused him as he ran down the sidelines. But I don't even think that was as tough as quarterback Jalen Hurts. I got to give him a lot of credit. Coming off a concussion, I thought there's no way he's running the ball at all. Well, he ran it 6 times. He gained 36 important yards. He also converted a tush push, which I didn't think they would do either.
True.
Jalen Hurts is a tough son of a gun, and it showed for Philadelphia yesterday. The bad, sorry, all you gamblers out there, Saquon Barkley breaks into the open for a touchdown in the final minute of the game. Everybody in the country bet on him for an anytime touchdown, and he lies down on the field short of the end zone.
I knew he was going to do it.
Of course he's going to do it. He's got to do what he's got, to wrap the game up.
Exactly.
And if you bet on this stuff, you take that in your own hands. Saquon Barkley pulls the rug right out from underneath all those bettors. No touchdown.
Yeah, if you're heading into the final minute of the game, I think your bet's pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah. The ugly goes to my best friend from ESPN Plus that I pay good money to read, Bill Barnwell, who picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl.
That was bold.
That was bold. They hardly looked the part, right, in the ball game yesterday. Jordan Love didn't look the part either.
Love going to take a shot going deep down the far side, and intercepted. Darius Slay, stride for stride, picks it off.
He threw 3, so he was contending with Justin Herbert for weekend honors. Anyway, it was not a great day for the Packers. The injuries also piled up on them, I must say.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed like after every play, one of their guys was being dragged off the field.
It's true. And they all looked like serious injuries, too.
And this may sound like I'm a Jaden Reed guy because I had him on my fan, but they ought to get the ball to that guy way more. Don't you think? He's electric.
I do think that.
They don't give him the ball very much.
That's what tells me maybe he's not as good as we think he is.
I don't know. I just watch what I see.
He does look great, and then there's games where he doesn't even touch the ball.
I know. I don't agree with that. Anyway, Philadelphia moves on. And then the night game last night, the Washington Commanders win their first playoff game as the Commanders.
Oh.
They take out Tampa Bay 23-20. The good here for me was the Hogs. And if you don't know what the Hogs is, you don't know Washington football history. But back in the 80s, when they won 3 Super Bowls under Joe Gibbs, they had the offensive line. They called them the Hogs. And all the fans used to dress up as pigs in the stands.
Yes.
And the Hogs used to just steamroll people, and John Riggins would run down the field. Well, the Hogs yesterday did not run the ball or create much in the run game. But I thought Jaden Daniels had all day to throw all day. They just did a really good job of keeping him clean. I think there was 1 sack for no yardage, which is really not even a detriment. They did a great job protecting a young quarterback and allowing him to perform under those circumstances. I thought that helped win the game for Washington.
Agree. And this is why I think Jaden Daniels is... Okay, here's the argument I had with my friend yesterday. I said that Jaden Daniels on the Bears, same quarterback.
As Caleb Williams?
No, as himself.
Oh, as himself.
Yeah.
So you think he would have turned the Bears around?
Good.
He's pretty good.
I mean, he looks like a vet. He plays like a vet.
Yeah.
And he makes plays that other guys just can't do it.
They win games. That leads me right to the bad. The bad is my notion, Chris Ello's notion, that rookie quarterbacks can't win playoff games. Jaden Daniels won one. It's the 3rd year in a row now that a rookie quarterback has won in the playoffs. And I didn't think Jaden Daniels was good. He was great. and he was poised. He stood in there, and he waited for guys. Now, the offensive line, again, gave him the time. But when he had to scramble a little bit, he did. He created more plays. And he hits a 3rd down and goal touchdown from the 10, and then he hit this big one on 4th and 2.
Daniels going end zone, touchdown! Washington takes the lead with Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin doesn't hurt matters, by the way. He's a pretty good receiver. But Jaden Daniels, and then he made the clinching play on that scramble, shook off a tackle, got the first down. He's beyond his years. There's no question. And he doesn't look rattled at all, right?
Never.
Just calm in there. Really impressed.
Never. Even when he gets his face ripped open, I did think it was.
He did.
I did think it was funny when Chris Collinsworth was like, "Really? We're showing the cut on his face? Like all those guys
Got to
on the
make it more
field
dramatic.
have cuts all over them."
Yeah. All right. The ugly in this game. What else would it be? Zane Gonzalez's ugliest of all time game-winning 37-yard field goal that doinked off the post to win it for Washington. But even better than that was this call from the Commanders radio network.
Zane Gonzalez looking to send Washington into the divisional round. Snap good, hold down, kick on its way. It is good! The Cardiac Commanders are the clutch Commanders! They do it again! We'll see you in Detroit! And Zane Gonzalez kicks in the door and kicks us into the Super Bowl of the playoffs!
He got so excited he said Super Bowl.
He was really fired up. The color guy.
It's London Fletcher.
That's London
Yeah,
Fletcher?
that's London
Oh.
Fletcher,
What,
yeah.
what we couldn't see there was when the play-by-play guy was describing the field goal, London Fletcher was like punching the air. He was so excited. The only thing the guy didn't say on that call was that the ball doinked off the goalpost, which was kind of important.
It's very important
to
actually.
that call. But
It's actually it can't be the Cardiac Commanders.
Doesn't
You can't
sound right.
use it.
Don't like it.
You can't do it.
Too
The
many
comeback
teams have
Commanders.
been
Come
too
on.
many teams have been that before.
The Cardiac Cats is the only one that's acceptable to me.
Cardiac Cardinals were the first. Don Coryell back in the 70s. They called them the Cardiac Cards.
Well, Cardiac cannot be used anymore. It's
I
been
agree.
used.
Agreed. All right, Chris versus the fans is next. 833-288-0973. Let's play. And you got to play if you want to win. It's next. We head into our final half hour today. Happy Monday to you. Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ella, Matt Skraby today. Tony is idle. He'll be back with us tomorrow, full 4-hour show. And we look for you on a Tuesday get-together. We'll probably have a fantabulous sports game show, Skraby. So gear up, baby.
Oh.
Gear up.
Last week, really,
you were embarrassed badly last week.
I was.
And you were like, your own self was embarrassed.
I drove home thinking about how I dropped the ball.
Yeah. So we'll see what you do tomorrow on the Fantabulous
Probably
Sports
lose,
Game
Chris.
Show. Probably. Most likely. That's what normally happens. 4:01 is the time. Chance for you to get on the winning side here. Chance to be qualified. Chance to win our grand prize. It's a trip to Las Vegas to see Scorpions. Scorpion, get over here. There you go. March 6th. Plus a 2-night stay at Planet Hollywood. And a $100 gas card. That'll get you from here to the end of the street.
Hey,
actually, gas has gone down finally a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But if you travel like I did to Laramie last week,
you realize what's
you see
out
it's
there.
in the 2s and the 1s, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks weird. Scorpions return with their 60 years of The Scorpions. Las Vegas residency show live February 27th to March 11th at PH Live. It's at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Time for a round of Chris versus the fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Gave everybody the prize, Scrape, so you just some rules, right?
And we're adding a prize.
Oh, yes, I didn't see this, but make sure you get it in. This is a big deal.
You will win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's San Diego State basketball game versus Colorado State at Viejas Arena. Tickets go on sale at goaztecs.com, or tickets on sale. Also, we got to mention this real quick. The Biggest Fan Contest returns on January 27th. Our grand prize is a night in the Odyssey Suite with 20 tickets for you and your friends at a future Padres game. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggestfan and listen when we announce names each day at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. for your chance to qualify. This is the bane of my existence because we have to wait for someone to call back, and then I have to quiz them because people call trying to get the prize without actually being the person who's actually blah, blah, blah.
It's great promotion, though, Scrape.
It
so
is.
You gotta,
I love
you got to take a hit for the ball club there, the station. It's big for us.
I'll take it. Yeah, I love the Biggest
People
Fan
love
Contest.
Well, people love it out there, and make sure you get signed up for your chance to win that this year, this time around.
Rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into
Tony
it.
on that. I didn't realize how important he was to that.
He's got the third.
When just you and I did it just sounded kind of weak.
Yeah, it did, actually.
Yeah, let's try it again.
If you're a first-time player, that was better.
Better, but we still need Tony.
I think where effort is
we still need Tony on that.
Tell us before you get into the first question. You'll get that question for free.
All
now,
right.
my ADD is all over the place, and I was watching ESPN as I was reading that, and they were showing me how they make the field in Arizona, how they have it outside, and how they do all the things. Did you know they just ride a golf cart and they paint the lines down the field? I thought they would walk it, but no, it's a golf cart.
That paints the lines?
Yeah, on the football field.
How do they keep it so straight?
That's what I'm saying.
Here's
It's
a self-serving moment that I don't want to watch.
Roger Goodell
being interviewed on the television to tell everybody how great he is and great the NFL is.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever, Roger.
Top button open for Roger right now.
No kidding.
All right, let's get to our
couple of hairs creeping out over the top of that.
I think he shaved his chest,
terrible.
Chris.
Looks terrible. Ugh.
All right, let's see. First contestant for today is going to be Scott in San Diego. Hello, Scott.
All right, Scott.
Hey guys, happy Monday.
Yes,
Happy
sir,
Monday.
you too.
You ready to play?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do it.
Now, these first questions are spillover from Friday, which have some fast food questions. Where would you find a quarter pounder hamburger?
Pop and Taco.
be at Burger King, I believe.
Burger King.
Scott must be the fittest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's never had a quarter pounder. As they call it in France, a Royale with cheese.
Yes.
That's McDonald's. Yeah.
All
Sorry
right,
about
Scott,
that.
I have to ask, do you not eat fast food often? Because good on you if that's true.
No.
Ah, well, good on you.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to
evidently not,
eliminate
yeah,
you with
'cause
this.
I
That
hate to say
stinks.
it, but quarter pounder, I'd say 99% would get that. 97%.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife doesn't eat fast food or anything, but she would know a quarter pounder's at McDonald's, I think.
I think
Pretty
it's,
sure. I'll have to ask her
I feel
later.
bad for Scott. I do.
I do, but
I do.
it wasn't his thought.
Wasn't
It
his day.
category.
Wasn't his day.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our next contestant. Let's go to Jared in Poway. Hello, Jared.
Jared. Hello.
How's it going?
Hey,
Pretty
Jared.
good.
How are you, man?
You ready to play?
Good. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where do they have a quarter pounder, Jared? Did you know that one?
McDonald's.
Yeah, well, that's not your question.
Oh,
Sorry.
wow. Jeez. What the heck?
He was hoping that was his question.
Messed up, man.
I know.
Where would you find one of my favorite fast food items of all time? Where would you find a Crunch Wrap Supreme?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell! Thank you, Jared. All right, we're out of the fast food questions. Here we go. Question number 2. Let's see. Which playoff quarterback over the weekend threw for the most yards?
For the most yards, let's go with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Stay there.
Yeah, stay there. I'm just going to be guessing. You know, nobody had a really big.
Exactly. That's why it's such
You
a
know,
good question.
yeah, it is a good question. Nobody had a standout like 375 game.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It really could have
lot
been
of
almost
rushing.
It really, yeah, it was a big running weekend. It could have been almost anybody. I'm gonna just hem and haw here for a minute. Who threw for the most? How about God? I don't know. He kind of tated it off. He had a big. He said Josh Allen.
Yes.
That gives me 10 more to guess for, 9 more to guess from. I'm not feeling good on this at all. I just don't know. Jaden Daniels. I don't know. Yeah, who was it?
Wow, CJ Stroud.
Stroud did, huh?
I
Hit
think
the
he
most.
had it by like a couple yards.
Yeah, I didn't know. Nobody had a big passing weekend. That's a good question. All right, good for you.
Jared, you're still
Jared,
there.
you're on to the finals.
All right, question number 3. Here we come. Ooh, this is a tough NFL question, I think. Tell me if we've already asked this. Which NFL rookie wide receiver was the only rookie to catch 10 or more touchdowns this season?
No, I don't believe we asked that.
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey.
Oh, I thought you might get a
Stay
ding there. I thought you were
there.
going to get a ding. Rookie wide receivers, huh?
Only rookie to catch 10 or more touchdowns this season.
Yeah, Lad McConkey was a good guess, I thought. Really. I did.
He was great.
But, boy, I can't think of a good rookie wide receiver. How about, no, he had 8 because I saw it on the screen last night. The McMillan guy from Tampa Bay.
Oh, wow. He had 8? Jeez.
I think he had 8, yeah. 10's a lot. Brock Bowers.
Wow.
Good for you, Jared. You got to
Nice,
win
Jared.
out of it.
Stay right there. It was actually
Yes.
Jacksonville Jaguar.
Oh, yeah.
Brian
wouldn't have
Thomas
wouldn't have
Jr.
come up with that. Brian Thomas, yeah.
He was incredible.
Had a
this
really
year.
good year for just a horrible team, right?
A terrible team
Yeah.
with many different quarterbacks.
If you had him on your fantasy roster, good on you.
Oh, if you had him on your fantasy roster, you probably went to the playoffs because
Yeah,
he was
had
that
a good. He had a good season. He was the best rookie out there. I think he wins. Does he win off? No, he can't win offensive rookie of the year because Jaden Daniels will win that.
It
but-
always goes towards the quarterbacks, Chris.
well, especially when Jaden Daniels is as good as he was.
True.
So.
Very true.
All right, very good, Jared. See, that's why I tell everybody to play.
To play, yes.
You can only, you may only have to know that the crunchy
Crunch Wrap
burrito thing
Supreme.
is Supreme is at Taco Bell, and that may get you all the way to Las Vegas.
And it could, yeah, right there. That's
Could get
how it
you
works.
all the way to Las Vegas because that's all Jared knew. But he's on his way, maybe if he wins the drawing.
Chris, there's a Taco Bell down the street.
Yes.
And
Have I ever been to it? No.
No, every time I pass by, there's
You think about it?
urge to
Do you
go
really?
to Taco Bell and get like a
Not only do I not have the urge, but it's on the worst possible corner.
It's on a bad corner.
Like it's hard to
It's
kind of
very
get
hard to get to. Yes.
It seems like it's uncomfortable almost to
Well,
get
the
to.
reason I think about it is because you kind of have to go down the street, and that's the way out of work home.
On the way out, yes, it's easier to get
It's
to.
way easier, but
Yeah,
I
it
used to
just-
love the Fritos burrito.
You did. I got to tell you, Taco Bell. I'm not going to get their business, but
I don't think they care.
I mean, honestly, you've got Roberto's in San Diego.
No, I get it.
You've got
I get
places
it.
like that are just 100 times better.
I'm with you.
So I get why some people might run into Taco Bell for a quick thing. But
That's what it is.
It's just not good compared to what you can get.
Yeah, no, I'm not
in
going
San
there
Diego.
and getting dinner. I'm going there and
Yeah.
getting a soft taco or something snack wise.
All right.
Because I do love their hot sauce and their fire sauce. So I always ask them for extra, and they try to charge me now. It's just a whole thing.
All right. Very good. Jared's the winner. We're going to take a quick timeout. We got one segment to go. The very latest on Roki Sasaki. Is he going to be a Padre? What are the other teams that are in the final running for him? We know who it is. We'll tell you the latest after traffic.
Sounds good.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly.
Segment today, Gwynn and Chris on a Monday without Gwynn. Tony will be back tomorrow. We got a full 4-hour show tomorrow. We will obviously recap what happens tonight in the final playoff game. Kevin O'Connell's Vikings taking on one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, Sean McVay.
I know you love him.
The genius who runs the Los Angeles Rams.
I have to give him credit. No one expected that team to win. What did they win? 10 games, 11 games?
Well,
no one expected
they
it.
did make the playoffs last year. It wasn't like they were a complete bust. I mean, and what did they lose from last season? I mean,
Can't think of any. Well,
yeah, I mean,
Aaron Donald wasn't there last year?
No, I mean, they were in the playoffs last year. So I agree with you that the 49ers were, supposed to be the class of the division. They weren't. The Rams were able to step into that void.
They really were.
And take the division. It'll be interesting. It'll be in Phoenix tonight. And we'll break it down tomorrow. Also tomorrow, a fantabulous sports game show that Skraby will most likely lose. We'll also I don't mind. I can take it. And we'll also prepare you for tomorrow night's Aztec home basketball, looking to bounce back against Colorado State. That's all on the program tomorrow. Interesting, the women team hosts Colorado State on Wednesday night, which means the women's team will be in town tomorrow to go see their men play if they choose to do so.
And that really doesn't ever happen.
No, hardly ever. Let me put it this way. The Aztec women are never in a city where the men are playing.
That's true.
Has never happened in my entire time.
Well, that's nice for them.
So good for them. All right. The final news of the day on Roki Sasaki, and I think, to me it's pretty good. I mean, when the day started, you woke up on your Monday, the Yankees, the Mets, the Cubs, the Giants, the Rangers, they were all still in.
This is true.
Now they're all out. Every one of them is out. And there's only 3 teams left. It's either the Dodgers or the Padres, and really to a lesser extent, they're saying the Blue Jays.
Yeah. It's Padres and Dodgers.
Yeah. We've already said, kind of has to be the Padres based on everything that's happening around this franchise right now. But we will find out sometime between this Wednesday and next Wednesday.
Oh, hold on. Adam just sent me a picture of what...
Oh, no.
Hold on, it's from a person who lives in one of those apartment buildings above Petco.
Okay.
And they're apparently videoing Roki Sasaki throwing a bullpen at Petco Park.
Seriously?
In Padres clothes.
Why don't you show it to the camera?
I know, I'm sorry.
You're showing it to me. Let the people see it if they can see it.
It's I'll retweet it at Matt Skraby, but if usually when I get sent these bird's eye view videos, I'm like, okay, here we go. But this one is actually worth it.
Well, let's hope it's right. I mean, I caution everybody about everything.
He's in Padres clothes.
But are you sure it's him? It could be the guy from Shark Tank.
Robert Herjavec, the one who...
Don't forget what happened when he flew to Toronto and everybody reported that Ohtani was a Blue Jay. And he got off the plane in Toronto, and everybody was waiting for him. And he was like, "What are y'all doing here?"
It kind of does look like his throwing motion.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen enough video to...
No, I look, I'm as hopeful as anybody.
And look how many people are watching this.
I hope it's right.
There's at least 15 players watching this.
Just pray that it's right, and pray he's coming to the Padres. We got to have him. All right, so post that video. That is interesting, though. But you got the latest on Sasaki. He was here in San Diego this weekend. Apparently, according to this video, he's still here. And we hope that he doesn't leave.
When was this posted? Let me see. This was posted 19 minutes ago.
Wow. Well, let's hope. I mean, whoever has that video, I hope it's right. But, God, they have so many stupid things out there now, Skraby. AI and this and that and the other.
That is a great point, Chris. It never crossed my mind.
I mean, it just worries me, whatever's posted. I'm hoping it's right. Believe me, don't get me wrong.
But look how bad the field looks. I know they just had the rodeo, but look how bad the field looks.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till he announces that he's a Padre. I got to wait. It's all I can do. Got to sweat it out.
AJ. Oh, man. I'm getting excited after this video, Chris.
Oh, no.
You can't wear Padres clothes if you're not going to be a Padre.
Robert Hershkovich wore Blue Jay clothes, and it didn't work out. No, he didn't wear Blue Jays clothes.
He just was on a plane.
I mean, that was one of the all-time classic disasters. The Robert what's his name?
Robert Hershkovich.
Yeah, he gets off the plane, and there's like media everywhere. And he's like, what?
He's like, I know I'm famous.
Yeah,
but really?
come on, not that famous. Yeah, the guy from Shark Tank was supposedly Shohei Ohtani. And I mean, I hate to say it, this is on me. We pretty much reported it. That Ohtani was on his way to Toronto, and it was guaranteed.
A source, like a really legitimate source in John
Everybody
Morosi.
said it was all said and done. So, until I hear it from as the proverbial horse's mouth, I'm going to hold off. But that's a good sign. If you want to see the video, Skraby will post it for you.
I did it at Matt Skraby. If you would like to see it on Twitter, at Matt Skraby on Instagram.
All right, Kevin O'Connell. We got a couple of minutes left. What's he got to do to win tonight, Skrabe? What do you? I mean, he's your friend, but I think I know him better. We're both fighting over him.
Yes.
When he got the job, or when he won the Super Bowl, I texted him and congratulated him, and he texted me back.
What?
Do you have one of those moments with Kevin O'Connell?
I didn't text him after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I'm
that
just saying.
does bother me, though.
I texted him and I said something like, not bad for a sideline reporter.
What'd he say?
He was like, he laughed and he was like, thank you. Anyway, I'm rooting for Kevin.
He does know
tonight.
this team inside and out.
I'm rooting for Kevin tonight. I think the Vikings are 14-3 season. But one of their losses was to the Rams. So, you got to take that into account. You also have to take into account the fact that Sam Darnold was really awful in the last game. Although, did you not hear the same thing I did, that Daniel Jones could be promoted to QB2 tonight for the Vikings?
Saw him warming up behind Sam Darnold.
See? So maybe they'll have him in reserve if need be.
That would be a disaster, though. If you're going to get a guy in there.
If he gets in the game, it's going to be lost.
It means Sam Darnold is hurt, which means that their offense shrunk.
Yeah, it's going to be lost. The other thing that concerns me is Brian Flores, who I think's one of my favorite coaches. You know that, Skrabe.
Yeah.
But he blitzes a lot, and I just worry that Stafford's going to pick that apart with Nakua and Cooper Kupp. You got to be careful by going too blitz crazy tonight. Stafford's been around long enough to figure that out.
Yes, he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, Brian Flores is going to have to pick his spots. But the game's coming up in just a few minutes.
The key
from Arizona.
For me?
What do you got?
Get the ball to Justin Jefferson.
But you can't force it to him, right? If there's four guys...
Force it to him. He's that good.
He is that good. But if there's four guys guarding him, then
throw it to Jordan Addison.
Old Addison will
throw
be
it
open.
to T.J. Hawkinson.
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting game. It should be. I think it has a chance to be the best of the games because that's not saying much because the other games weren't that good.
Well, it's not super wild card week anymore. It's just back to wild card week.
Well, it wasn't super. All right, thank you, Skraby. Thank you to all of you for joining us. Tony's back tomorrow. Gwynn and Chris rolls on at 2 o'clock mañana. Enjoy the good football tonight. Rams, Vikings coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Adios.